Hello, so this is part two of how to get monetized on YouTube. And for today, we're going to be discussing something very important, and that is how to write your video script. So, if you remember in part one, I discussed about two things. And if you remember, I discussed about the role of the YouTube content creator as either an educator or as an entertainer. So I hope by now you've asked yourself, what do you want to be? Do you want to be an entertainer or do you want to be an educator? So I will be continuing this series as I would encourage people to educate, if just in case you're willing to teach new things to other people. And so this is the reason why from here on, majority of what I will be posting about YouTube content creating will be more dedicated to educators. I also want you to be reminded from last time that we talked about something very important, and that is the idea of a niche. So if you're going to be creating content on YouTube, you have to know exactly what your niche will be. What particular topic are you going to be discussing on YouTube? Okay? So once you already have your own particular niche, then you will be able to draft different episodes that you will be talking about. And this is where I feel having a video script will be very important. And I'm going to actually show you the video script that I have for this episode. So let me show you a screenshot right now. This is my script for this episode. And if you look at it, it's very detailed. It's very detailed. And the reason why it's very important for you to know what you're going to talk about is because if your video has actually is organized by a script, number one, it's that your video is going to have a clear point. So that means when your audience would watch your video, they will not be lost, and they would understand what the video is all about. So like this episode is about video script. Okay. The next one is that the idea of if you have a video script, it also somehow gives you a sense of confidence because you know exactly what to talk about. And sometimes the audience would feel whether you are not really going to say something important. Sometimes the audience guts will tell them that, oh, this person is really just wasting my time, and the person doesn't really know, what he or she is going to talk about in this episode. And you wouldn't want your audience to feel that. So having a video script somehow improves your confidence, and your audience will trust that in the next few minutes they will learn something. Okay, so that's why video script is very important. So what will happen today is in learning about writing a video script, I'm going to talk about something very important about how do you plan it. Okay, and this is actually very interesting because for those of you who don't know, I am an English teacher also. I've been teaching English for the longest time in 17 years, and even in UP Diliman, where I graduated from. So that's actually my major. So I took up secondary education in English, and so I know basically a lot of things about how to communicate and how to how to be able to deliver a speech, and how to be able to make sure that your lessons are clear, etc. And I'm going to just apply one of the things I learn in one of the things that I teach in English classes, and that is to have the three-part theme in delivering your speech. Okay, so what is a three-part theme? So three-part theme would mean your speech, similar to essays, will have to have an intro, a body, and conclusion. Okay, and having an intro, body, conclusion seems, for some people, that's something that's common sense. But actually, some people don't know how to have a clear sense of introduction, body, and conclusion. So those are actually the major points that I will be discussing today. So your introduction should be strong, and I will teach you how to make your introduction strong. The body of your speech or video has to be insightful, so that's also very important. And finally, the conclusion of your video should be hopeful. Okay, so again, those three things: strong introduction, insightful body, and a hopeful conclusion. So that's what we're going to be studying today. So let's actually start right now. So what exactly do we mean by having a strong and catchy intro? Okay, so having a strong and catchy intro is very important in making your video script, because obviously the first few seconds, the first minute of your video is going to be important, crucial even, because the attention of your audience will have to be captured by the first minute. And if in the first minute, people already don't know what the video is all about, what will they do? They will just leave your video. Okay, so it's very important that you have to have a strong intro. Okay, so what exactly is a strong intro? So first, you have to have context. Okay, so what is context? Context is basically you have to explain why is your topic important. Okay, that's why at the start of this video I was telling you why is having a script important in making YouTube episodes. So I gave you some explanations, like for example, you'll have a clear point, you will not lose your audience, and it will make you feel prepared. Okay, so context is very important. Context also, by the way, means providing actually what is the importance of this topic today. Like, is there something relevant about your topic, and that's what will make your audience going to listen to you. Okay, so that's part of a strong intro, context. Another part of a strong intro is actually establishing your credibility. So, what makes you an authority to speak about that topic? So, this is the part where you can talk about, how you are properly equipped, or like you know exactly what you're going to talk about. So, establishing credibility is very important, because when you establish that you are an authority on that topic, people will more likely listen to you. Okay? So that's why in my SirNicolay Cattery YouTube channel, people listen to me because they know that I've been taking care of cats for a very long time. And that's very important. And earlier today, you notice I mentioned it. I told you that that I graduated from UP Diliman and I took up education, so that's why I'm an authority over this. So you might want to establish your credibility at the start of your video. Why would people listen to you? Why are you an authority over the subject? Okay, so that's a strong part of strong intro. And finally, you can also give, as part of your intro, give a quick glimpse as to what exactly the audience will learn in the video. So, like for example, earlier in this video, I already told you that we're going to be studying intro, body, conclusion. So that's basically the glimpse of what it will be about. Okay, but let's put it to a very practical way. So let's say your video is going to be about how to cook adobo. So let's say your niche is about cooking Filipino food, okay, or fusion or something like that. Then you decided that, okay, my first episode is going to be how to cook adobo, okay? So how should your introduction be? So let's apply what we learned, okay? So the first thing is the context. How do you provide context for adobo? You can talk about maybe that Philippines has many variants of adobo. You can talk about different types of adobo, and then you segue into the idea that you are an expert of adobo. So that is credibility. So you say that your adobo is very different from what you've tasted because it is unique. So like for example, in my case, I actually have a different technique also for adobo, where I fry the meat first before actually putting the sauces, etc. So anyway, that's not the point. But the idea is that you have to establish your sense of credibility. Okay, and finally, how do you show glimpse of what your video will be if your video is about adobo? So the glimpse will be something like maybe you can share your method of cooking. Like you can say in your introduction that you're going to be using an oven, for example, or you're going to be using a stove, or you're doing this particular technique, right? And then you can just say that it's very good. Your friends love this adobo, etc. So that's part of the introduction. Okay? So again, introduction should have context, credibility, a glimpse of what will happen, for the rest of the video. So that's strong introduction. Okay, so let's move now to the body. So how do you develop your video script where the body of your video script will be strong? Okay, so my first suggestion, if you want to have a very insightful body, is that you have to list down your major points. So list down your major points, brainstorm, with yourself, what do I want to talk about, and then order them. Okay. Now, when it comes to ordering your major points, there are actually three methods up to what kind of order you would actually do. So you can do it chronologically. So when you say chronologically, from start to finish, from what should be early, chronological means by time. So what comes first, and then the next one, then the next one. And very connected to it is the second type of order, which is logical. Logical does not necessarily mean chronological, because when we say logical, sometimes it does not actually take time into consideration. Okay? Sometimes you can talk about logical, like for example, you talk about this first, but logically this will follow. Okay? So sometimes the aspect of time is not there. And the third way to order your points is basically by importance. So if you're going to be talking about, for example, the best adobo, in the Philippines, then the order of importance might be, and this is a very used technique, from the least popular to the most popular. So the point of that is the audience will keep watching. What's the number one? What's the number one adobo that this YouTube content creator wants to talk about? So that's how it is. By listing down your major points by chronological, logical, or by importance, you will be able to at least make your audience follow your thoughts really well. Okay? So therefore, you have to list down and organize your points. Okay, next. So, for the adobo video example. So what's an example of having a body of your script that is logical, chronological? So you can just follow what they do in cooking shows. So the body of your script and your video is going to be like, show the ingredients, show how you prepare the ingredients and put everything together, and then you cook, and then you serve. Okay? That is actually logical and chronological. Okay, so that's how it is. It's not by importance, because if you go by importance, probably you would talk about specific techniques, not really showing ingredients anymore, etc. So that is, if you want your organization to be by importance. Okay, my next point after listing down and organizing your points is to provide examples. Now, what do we mean exactly by providing examples? So this is going to be slightly technical, because this is where you have to provide video clips, pictures, or maybe just make sure that you explain very well what you're doing or what you're discussing. So providing examples, like right now, I'm talking about video script, but I'm talking about example of video about adobo. That's what I'm talking about by it's okay not to have video clips or pictures of what you want to talk about, but at least give them a clear picture. Make your audience imagine exactly what you're discussing. Okay? And part of course, giving clear examples and being clear about your points, you just have to make sure that it's understandable. Okay? Use simple language and use something that's easy to follow. Okay, so that's for providing examples. For the adobo video, so same thing. Maybe the easiest ways to show that you're showing examples and clarifying is you're videoing different parts of the process of cooking adobo. So sometimes you can take a video, top view of mixing of ingredients, or sometimes you can show a wider angle of your kitchen, etc., and you preparing the adobo, etc. So those are basically parts of providing examples and being clear with your examples. Okay, and let's now talk about the most important part of the body or the video. This, in my personal opinion, is the reason why people would want to listen to you and to watch your video, and that is you make personal recommendations. Okay, so what do I mean by personal recommendations? These are original ideas that are just yours. What makes your adobo the best? What are the unique things that you do? Okay? Because to be honest, anybody can just Google how to cook adobo. But the reason why people are watching you cook adobo is maybe you're doing something different. And that personal recommendation is what makes you you. It what makes you as a YouTube content creator special. So this is where you have to, show a bit of personality. This is where you have to somehow share your tips, your personal tips, because this is, in my personal opinion, is what's going to make people subscribe to you, because you're offering something new. Okay, this is why it's actually very easy to make Google, make a YouTube content and then just say everything that the Google is saying. But I feel if you just do that, you will lose audience because people will just say, your ideas are not unique. People are just basically, you are just repeating what Google said. But the thing about YouTube content creating, and that's the reason why there's an aspect of creating, is that there's something unique. There's something personal about it. Okay? So in your adobo video, you should talk about something unique that you do. A special ingredient, a special method that you do when you cook adobo. And that will make your video shine because you just thought something different that other people don't. Okay? Now, if just in case you're wondering, but what if I'm not very confident about what I'm doing? Well, my suggestion is be confident about it, because the point is that it's something that you yourself are contributing to the knowledge of cooking adobo. Okay, so because you might actually say, what if it fails? What if I'm wrong after all, etc. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay actually to be wrong sometimes, and sometimes I also do give recommendations that turn out to be wrong, or ideas or opinions that turn out to be not updated. It's okay. Your audience actually sometimes would correct you. Sometimes you will read from comments that they will actually add something new, and for me that's good. That's actually part of learning, because when your audience actually starts correcting you or giving new ideas, that means you're engaging your audience. And that's fantastic, if you ask me. So that's why, in my opinion, even if some of your personal recommendations or ideas are not as 100% accurate, it's okay. Share them still, okay? Because your audience is watching for your personal opinions. Okay, so again, just to recap, what is a strong body of your video script? So basically, you have to list down your points, organize your points, provide examples, okay, and finally make solid, clear recommendations. Okay, that shows you. Okay, and then the last part of doing a video script is simply giving some hopeful conclusion. So what does this mean exactly? Hopeful conclusion would mean you're going to show the effects of what you just taught. So in cooking adobo, you just show people eating your adobo and enjoying your adobo, and that's it. So that's the effect of what you've learned, shown. In some of my category videos, I actually do that. So I would, I would actually feature a product. I would read about the product. I will show the method, and then I'll give recommendations. So that's it. And the recommendations also are where people would really listen to you. The other thing about making a conclusion already for your video script is the idea that you have to summarize your points. So summarize your points, make your recommendations, remind audience what they have learned. So it's very important that you end your video strong by telling them that, oh, these are the things that you now know. Okay? And finally, you can also ask for further engagement. Like you can ask for comments, further recommendations. And this is also where you can invite your audience to subscribe to your YouTube episode, and finally give final words. Okay? So that's basically it. That's how you make a hopeful conclusion. So you just list down your points, show possible effects, and further engage your audience. Okay, so that's basically how you should prepare your video script. So I hope you have learned something today. So having the three parts of intro, body, conclusion is very important in delivering information or in teaching people, because it's easy to follow. And what happens that your audience will be able to follow you logically, what your points are. And the other thing that I actually want you to realize about the three-part thing is that it's a very old formula, and this is something that was inspired by the Greeks. So if you guys read up about it, Aristotle, who is who actually wrote about rhetoric, and rhetoric is all about making persuasive speeches. So Aristotle wrote about having logos, pathos, and ethos in your speech. And basically, the point of that is ethos is establishing credibility, which I talked about already. Logos is having logical points. I talked about that already. Pathos is something that I would want you to further do. And pathos is basically engaging your audience you know, uh, by having emotions, clear directions, etc. So I hope that you'll be able to experiment on that also. Okay? So formulas work. So having good intro, so a strong intro, insightful body, and then hopeful conclusion, they work actually when you write your video script. Okay, so be engaging, and actually you can also break the rules sometimes. There are some people who would not really have a sense of introduction, or the conclusion is sort of like left hanging. That's okay also. But if you are still lost and you don't know exactly how to, do your video, this formula works. What I just taught you today, and being able to know intro, body, conclusion helps you so much in writing your content, and of course making your content. So this is the second part of how to get monetized on YouTube. And so the first part being what is your niche, and this one is how to write your video script. The third part, which I'm going to most likely release tomorrow, is going to be a bit technical, because I'm going to be making an episode about what are the different gadgets and stuff I use exactly in making a video for YouTube. Okay, so that will be exciting, because I'll show you different technical stuff, and I love technical stuff. Okay, so, and yeah, so that's it for today, and hopefully you learned something new. And please subscribe to SirNicolay Teaches, because I will definitely have a lot of things to teach you about, about technological stuff, arts, media, and then life in general. Okay, so thank you so much. I'll see you soon.